What's up, y'all? I got my Fuji Origami right behind me. I purchased this, I want to say maybe, I don't know, it's been a little while. I want to say maybe like 6 or 8 months ago, give or take. It's less than a year old. 2018, 2017, 2016, the book. All the years are basically the same. Fuji Origami, in flat black. And why did I decide to get this thing? Well, I sold the BMX bike. It's kind of tired of it. I get tired of being all beat up. As much as I love coming to the skate park, just got a little bit tired of it, so I decided to sell it. And with the money that I got from that purchase, as well as my employee discount for when I was working at Performance Bicycle at the time, I got this. And I thought it was a great idea because, one, at the time I was living in the city of Philadelphia, so it was quick on and off bike, very zippy, very nimble through traffic considering its geometry. And also as well, of course, being very compact and very portable, you can put this on the train, which I do take on occasion, and you can actually ride SEPTA even during peak hours, considering it's a folding bike, which you can't get away with most road bikes and single speed bikes when you take them on the train. And also as well, if you're planning to go to anywhere on the East Coast via Bolt bus, let's say Washington, New York, Virginia, wherever they go, you can fold this up, put it inside the storage compartment that they have, along with other luggage, just fine, actually, as well. But anyway, on to what I've done to the bike. So, as far as that is concerned, I've done numerous things, not too far away from what the bike was originally stock. Upgraded tires to these kind of quick journeys. Origami crankset, 42 tooth, 165 millimeter. The bike originally came with a 52 tooth, and I decided to step it down to a 42, just so when you're at a stoplight and a car is right next to you, you can get off the line a little bit quicker. I figured with a bike like this, you're not really going to go fast anyway in comparison to a modern road bike or even a modern mountain bike these days. You're not really going to go fast. And the bike weighs about, I want to say, give or take 27 pounds without me actually weighing it. That's just a guesstimate. So you're not really going to go fast anyway, considering its geometry. So I just figured be a little bit more nimble for a complete stop. Odyssey pedals. I forget what specific model these are. These are old pedals, but I'm sorry. These are the Odyssey JCPC pedals. Shimano Accela rear derailleur, different from the Shimano Tori rear derailleur. Didn't like that setup. And also as well, the shifter. Shifter is a Shimano Accela 7-speed. This bike's a 7-speed bike. 1 chainring in the front, 7 gears in the back. It's really all you need. I was really actually thinking about making this a 10-speed because there's a company out there, I think it's well, regardless of the brand name, I know on JBI, which is a distribution website to where you can get all these different parts if you happen to work in a bike shop. JBI had a back wheel, and that was a 20-inch that had a free hub on it that allowed you to put a 10-speed cassette on it. So I was really actually thinking instead of having the 7-speed, which you see now, instead of having the 7-speed, which you see now, putting the 10-speed cassette, I think that would be pretty cool. But then again, this is like a point A to point B bike, so I'm not sure if I really want to put the money down just for a little simple folding bike. But I'm always thinking about that in the future. V-brakes. I think these are stock pads. Yeah, these are still stock pads. Got my bell. Just, yeah, you gotta let them know. We got the Laser Beam 180 rear taillight, and as well as the Enzyme 1100 XL. Very good components. But now to the, as Doug DeMuro would say, quirks and features of this bike, which I will go in detail. Okay, so first up with the bike. The main thing that makes this a folding bike is this latch here. This is your locking latch, and this is your main one here. just like that. You do have to make sure that this top latch is secured, or else this back wheel will go to the left of you. It's like literally for a split second you're riding a unicycle only with 2 wheels. It's kind of scary, but make sure this latch is down. But anyway, if that makes any sense. Okay, it does come with a detachable rear derailleur hanger, thankfully. That's replaceable in case you do happen to whack the rear derailleur. And when I was looking at this bike originally, I was thinking to myself, okay, I got a set of spare fenders, where do I put them? So obviously, I would like to think you would put them here, along these 2 mounts, along the seat stay, chain stay, whatever you call this bike, whatever you call this part, considering it's not a rear triangle, but I'm just going to call it a seat stay for right now. So you have your mounts here, obviously, one here, one here. But where do you mount the rear mounts? I don't see anything anywhere. And the bike didn't come with a special fender or anything like that, so I'm left scratching my head, like, where do you mount your spare fender? Maybe along these 2 mounts here? I'm not quite so sure, so I don't know. And this also seems to have a rear disc brake caliper mount, which would be right here. I think it's an IS mount. I should measure it, and I think it's a 62 millimeter. I have to go measure it, but I'll put a number along here on the screen once I do happen to measure it. It does come with an integrated kickstand. I'm not a big fan of kickstands, but for this bike it works out perfect, and I do admit I'm not a big fan of kickstands on any kind of bike, but this is just so befitting, and I do happen to love this kickstand, so I'm gonna definitely leave it on there, because this is not a race bike of any sort, and I don't really care about weight as far as this bike is concerned. Also, as well, one other quirky thing is that the front wheel, actually the front hub, is not a 100 millimeter hub. It's actually a 76, so it's very small in size, so you cannot fit a standard 20-inch wheel in the front, which kind of sucks. You have to use this hub, or a similar same size hub, considering it's a smaller size, which kind of sucks, because I have a C-sucker mount and I can't put it on my car rack on my bike, so I have to tuck it away inside the car, inside my hatch. So that's one thing I don't like. I wish this were a standard 100 millimeter, and just so I can fit different types of wheels and everything like that on there just as well. And also the fork is narrow just as well. I believe the head tube angle is a 76 millimeter. I'm sorry, 76 degree. So it's a very nimble kind of bike for sure, and also considering its size is similar to a BMX bike for sure. I'm sure you're looking at right now the water bottle cage, and yes, it's situated on top here. I guess where you can consider this the top tube. But I like it and I don't like it. I like it because it's there, but I don't think it's the best way to fit a water bottle. I would like to think like it would be cool if it were tucked along here where my tail light would be, like underneath here. Profile Racing has a amount that situates 2 water bottles. Now granted, it's for mainly triathlete bikes, but you can fit them regardless underneath the seat. I would like to think if I were designing this bike, that's definitely where I would place them, underneath the seat. I just think that's a more logical place to put your water bottle or water bottles. Anyway, this part of the bike here, it's called a handle post. I believe that's what Dehan calls it, so that's what I'm going to call it. Thankfully, the stem is detachable. The top plate is detachable, so you can mount a different handlebar if you want to. This is a 25.4 millimeter in diameter, so you can replace your handlebar if you want to with a different style. I've seen these with drop bars just as well, but I think drop bars is a little bit too much for this bike, so I'm going to stay rocking the flat bar, Cannondale grips, which I forgot to mention, and yeah, V-brakes, front and back, of course. And another thing too, I was really considering buying a Oyama folding bike with disc brakes. I think it was called the CX16. It had disc brakes and more gears and stuff like that. But I was like, I don't need all that. After I thought about it for a little while, I didn't really need it, so I decided to get the Fuji Origami. And considering the price I paid for it, it was a no-brainer, really. Okay, but moving back onto the bike though. Okay, so for the seat, this is an oval concept seat. I just ditched the stock one just because this seems a little bit more sporty. But more importantly, the seat post. This size, and what I've noticed for all seat posts on folding bikes, they have very different sizes. They're not standard sizes. They're not your 31/6, not your 28.4. They're not standard sizes. This is a 34, I believe. So a 34.9. Let me just actually take it out. Let me undo that. Nope, 34. I'm not sure you can see that, but it says 34 on there. But anyway, boom. It's a 34. So if you happen to want to get a taller seat post or replace this one, it's going to be, your options unlimited. I'll just say that for sure. And it's kind of one thing with folding bikes in general is that they have these odd sizes to compensate for the lack of metal. So this is an important structural integral component of the bike for sure. And I'm 5'10", so if you happen to purchase a folding bike, I would suggest getting something with bigger wheels. These are 20-inch wheels. The standard sizes for, I think most folding bikes are either going to be your 20-inch, your 24-inch, as well as smaller wheel size like your, I think they even come with 18s or 14s, I believe, depending on what brand name you get. I gotta double check that, but they do make smaller wheel sizes, and I just prefer these 20s. I really do. They're a good in-between size. They're not too big, they're not too small, and for a person of my height, they're just right. And my inseam is a 30-inch. I have a 30-inch inseam, by the way. So I do have to raise the seat post quite a bit, and as you can see, the minimum insert is right there, but I kind of like to drop it down a little bit to right about there. Yeah, it's a little bit past the seat post clamp, but I don't mind that. I really don't. But then again, I shall repeat, if you are a person of taller height, I would suggest getting a bigger wheel size because it's going to feel more comfortable for sure. So how does it feel riding the bike? So now, I'm just riding my bike along. It feels very nimble. Now granted, I'm riding with one hand because I'm holding the camera, obviously. And forgive me of the wind noise just as well, if it happens to be any in the video. I'm only one guy, so what do you expect? But anyway, just riding along. It feels very smooth, considering the mods I've done to it, different tires and everything else. But overall, it feels very solid. It's all aluminum, 6061 aluminum. My old bike that I transferred these parts from was all steel, wasn't made well. I think I have some photos of that, so I'll put them in the video just as well. And it's definitely a 9-day difference in comparison to what I had, for sure. There's the water bottle right there. Again, now granted, I don't like where it's placed, but it's very convenient and it's very easy to reach to when you do happen to need it. But anyway, I'm just cruising along, you know, along Glasgow Park here in Delaware. And I do very much like the bike. Let me just switch hands here. Bam. Whoop. Cool. And we are moving along once again. My truck had to go by. So again, my 7-speed shifter. This originally came with a it came with twist shift, but I very much like trigger shifters and I like index shifting, so I definitely had to switch that over. I do love my lens on light, Comes in very handy, nice and bright when you need it. That's a keeper for sure. It's kind of a hard bike to let your hands go, so thankfully, just because it has a slack, well, thankfully, just because it has a kind of a steep head-to angle, thankfully, you can still let go of the bars if need be. So it does have a sense of control in that respect. I like my brakes tight. Okay. So that's really about it, I should say. It's a quick ride around Glasgow Park. I suggest if you happen to have a bike shop that happens to have a Fuji Origami or any folding bike in general, try it out. It's kind of a niche kind of market. Well, bikes in general are kind of niche in some regard, but if you're looking for a compact bike, portable bike, or let's say you have a small apartment and you're short on space, a folding bike would definitely get the job done for sure. And it's a nice alternative to a single speed bike, so definitely check them out.